today is going to be all about the volume of prisms and cylinders. To start off with, we probably need to look at, okay, what is volume? Volume is something that the amount of space that it takes to fill something up. So for instance, if I have a basketball and I want to fill it up with water, that amount of water it takes to fill up that basketball is my volume. So volume is the amount of space to take up an object. Or you can think of it as a solid. My measurement for volume is going to be in units cubed. If I think about it, if I'm filling something up with space or with water that's three-dimensional, I can't have something flat going in there. It's in 3 dimensions, so we've got our units cubed. So whether or not we have a prism or a cylinder, our volume formula for a prism and a cylinder equals the area of our base times our height. Now this changes a little bit for cylinders that you're going to be using pi. Remember that you want to leave the pi out, unless of course we are comparing our cylinder to a different type of prism. So let's look at an example here. So let's say, for instance, I have a triangular prism here. Notice the first thing, I want to look for the 2 shapes that represent my base, which in this case we know is my triangle. Notice I've kind of colored this in so you guys can see it. So in order to find my volume, it's my area of the base times the height. So I'm going to look at this and say, okay, the area of the base, how do I find the area of a triangle? That is in fact 1/2 times, this is where it gets confusing. The area of a triangle, you're just looking at the base numbers, that's it. So in this case, 6 and 8. So that's the area of my base. Now I need the height of my prism, which is 12. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and simplify this. And I get 6 times 6 times 8. So my final volume for this prism is 288 inches cubed. Okay. I'm going to give you one that's a little bit different. Same type of concept. So with this one, you should be able to figure out your length of your altitude and your triangle, and the base of your triangle. I'm going to tell you this. It is a special case. It's a 45, 45, 90. With that being said, my two heights will be the same. I know that based on a 45, 45, 90, my hypotenuse equals the leg square root 2. So in this case, x equals 16. From here, go ahead and figure out the volume. I know it doesn't look proportional, sorry, just threw in a number. Once you get your answer, you'll see how to plug it in. So my volume is the area of the base times the height. The area of my base is 1/2 times 16 times 16 times my height of 14. I can just plug that straight into my calculator. And I know that my volume is 1,792 centimeters cubed. Okay, now let's talk about a cylinder. The reason why a cylinder kind of gets its own special case versus a prism is because our circles deal with pi, and so it gets a special case for it. So again, my volume is still the same. Area of the base times the height. In this picture, my radius is going to be 3 inches. My height is going to be 9 inches. So I just got to plug it right into my formula. Area of a circle is pi r squared times my height on the outside. So I have pi 3 squared times 9. So I reduce that down, I get 9 pi times 9, which is then 81 pi inches cubed. Okay. So you're going to be given an example. I want you guys to go ahead and solve it, and then once you enter your answer in, I will show you how to go through it. So I have 10 centimeters as my diameter, 22 centimeters as my height. So go ahead and figure out your volume. Looking at this, I know I'm dealing with a diameter, so I need to cut that in half in order to get my radius. Which is 5. And now I just need to multiply that out. I get 25 pi times 22, which then leaves me at 550 pi inches cubed.